So it's been a while for me. Sadly, I've got, well, I decided to touch grass when everything decided to. I missed a lot of news. Lots and lots of news. Um, so, let me see. Um, anyway, we got some stuff from England. We got some other stuff going on. We got really big things going on for the U.S. in a way. Um, kind of. Uh, Definitely a change of pace while I was gone. Um, so I kind of want to hit the first thing. Um, so we re-engaged with Iran, which we kind of knew that was going to happen because Iran can't make a deal, and or well, I shouldn't say can't make a deal. They don't want to make a deal that's what we want. So they reinitiated airstrikes again. Hitting dozens of targets in multiple locations, mostly in the southern portion of Iran, but not exclusively to that point. Uh, we knew that was coming, but of course it had to happen when I decided to touch grass. And Rupert Lowe visited the United States during, well, actually, I think he visited during the 4th of July and then just did a little tour here in the U.S. And he was on Joe Rogan. Kind of want to listen to this a little bit just because.
Well,
Different places in
again,
the
Joe,
world
this
that
is
are
this is you're quite right. This is, I mean, Pakistan is I think the
it's a wild place.
example of a rogue state, basically, and I think their view of, as you say, women who dress in ways other than the ways of Sharia, i.e., totally covered.
Yes.
And again, it's all in various of the hadiths, which we quote in the Rape Gang report. They are considered to be meat, and this is something I've never understood. How do you square this circle of this sort of clannish, backward-looking culture, which comes to a highly open, high trust society, and then embeds itself within that society, and undermines everything that we've achieved over 1,000 years?
And acknowledging that is somehow or another racist. Acknowledging that some cultures are superior is somehow or another racist. But by just understanding human rights, understanding the rights of individuals to be free, to not be subjected to other people's archaic laws. And this is look, these a lot of cultures in this world live as people lived thousands of years ago. No one in the United States wants to live as people lived thousands of years ago. No one. And this is not a racist thing. Like, you should be able to come over here and practice whatever religion you want. But if your religion has rules that violate the laws that we've all agree are just and fair, then you're not integrating. And if you take over a whole town, and now that town is subject to these archaic laws, uh, we've got a problem. And if you let that problem get bigger and bigger, they take over the country. And that's an actual possibility for certain countries. And we have to recognize that civilization is not as sturdy as we like to think it is. It's kind of flimsy in a lot of ways. A few bad things can happen and things can go sideways quite quickly.
Well, I think liberty is very fragile, isn't it?
Yes.
Ultimately, if you don't protect liberty, you lose it.
So, a little snippet. You can find that, I think it was, let me really quickly. Da, 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 da. I looked at it for a second. It is the Joe Rogan Experience number 2524. 2524. That would be the episode for Joe Rogan and Robert Lowe. And I agree with them. Actually, Joe Rogan puts that out very well, and it's what I truly believe. I have an issue with. Um, I have a large issue with congregations of certain cultures in one spot. I don't want to really call them out, but I mean, there's one in my state. It's one of the favorite animals to hunt here in Michigan. Um, and there's other places in the U.S. that are actually starting to fall into this category. And it's much worse in European cities, towns, whatever you want to call it. Eh, Once you let them congregate and take over the local government um, with beliefs and ideologies that are contradictive to, um, you know, a Western ideology, which is basically what we would call the most free. I mean, I know there's a lot of countries that aren't that free considering how Europe is looking right now. But the original um, thought pattern, fought a I mean, most of the countries that I really think of with Western civilization would be countries that fought revolutions against um, a hierarchy that believed it was superior to the base citizens. So, France, England has had multiple civil wars, and some of them they were kind of stalemates, but in the end, they still signed documents that moved them closer to a um, democratic solution or whatever you want to call it. And so, because the Magna Carta is one of the founding, it is really a founding document of democracy. It's just a start to it. And so, moving on from that, I mean, there's lots of news. And then I'm just gonna watch something after that with you guys as well because I mean, it's something I missed while I was off gallivanting around. Um, Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, passed away uh, yesterday, and we've also got another sitting senator that we don't know what exactly is going on with. Another Republican, actually. Um, so, not sure what's going on. It's not, you know, it's a coincidence in a way on all the things that are going on, and I'm not going to sit here and believe any conspiracy theory yet. Um, but of course, Lindsey Graham just visited Ukraine, and honestly, I'm not a fan of Lindsey Graham, or was not a fan of Lindsey Graham. But still, my sympathies go out to his family, and I know that he doesn't really have anything other than um, a sister, but still family nonetheless. So, uh, my sympathies, condolences. It's a hard way to really lose someone. But back to what my disagreement with Mr. Graham was. He was a little too war hawkish. He pushed military might too hard, and just he just made me feel like he pushed really hard for that kind of stuff, just to be able to I don't know if it's bolstering or just his belief. I don't know, but he seemed to bolster the um, military industry a lot, and that's not what I'm really looking for because I don't want to spend hundreds of millions or billions of dollars on the military per se. Yes, I wanna. I mean, I really want to spend a decent amount of money on R&D, but um, there's other things to spend money on in the United States. How to balance that? I mean, I'm not a politician or anything along that line. I'm just a citizen, but there's a lot of other things to fix before we continue to spend so much on um, that kind of stuff. And but then again, I would prefer not to be sending my money overseas to other countries either. So you know, there's a lot of places that we could cut back on. I personally would like to see the U.S. try to achieve um, more of. I mean, this is. I believe that people deserve more than that they're getting, but I also don't want people getting what they don't deserve. Does that make any sense? I would like it, I would like people to have a healthier life and, be taken care of in that fact. But I don't think people who are 300 pounds needs to have another Twinkie, you know? So there's it's a balancing act that we're definitely not getting right, or we're not that close to getting right, and that's my little tangent for that. I missed. Let me see. Oh, a little leaflet drama, which this is kind of what I wanted to watch anyway with you guys, but uh, I don't know if I'm gonna skip around or not. But let's just see what Rev's got to say.
Talking about the leaflet situation, or as Asmongold would say, the leaflet situation. But this is someone who I'm sure most of you are aware of. We have a very overlapping audience. But it comes to me with a very heavy heart that things have gone too far. That's right, Leaflit has gone too far, and I'm going to join the countless ankle-biting, 100-follower, virtue-signaling V-tweeters who are currently attacking her to the point of trending on Twitter. Why, you ask? Why such a big shakeup, Rev? Well, I want to be on the right side of history. That's right. Because all the good people, these self-proclaimed good people, are very mad at Leaflit for reasons that'll be very obvious in just a second. So, what did Leaflit do in this situation? Well, she has provided means to make VTubing more accessible. Yes, that is her irredeemable crime. Now, this comes in the context of a very loud debate in the VTubing scene about AI. And people, as we've seen, are virtue signaling about this. It's mostly nobody VTubers and VTweeters who have very strong opinions about this subject, basically saying you're not a VTuber, you're not a content creator, and you're even a terrible person for ever using AI. Now, Leaflit, who has used AI to produce some very funny content, music videos, etc., came out with something very useful, a very useful tool. And if it's not obvious already, I'm being very facetious when I say I'm canceling or disavowing Leaflit, okay? But she says this: I'm making a program that is a bridge between PNG tubing and live 2D. It's called Adventurer. You can make a model in less than 30 minutes and add new emotes in less than 5. And she presented this video showing off the software, and this is a really great thing. For those who don't know, PNG tubing is when you literally have a PNG still image while you're waiting to get a 2D live VTuber model, okay? That's kind of the entry point for a lot of people before they get into VTubing. But Leaflit, free of charge and by her own efforts, is providing a tool to bridge that gap. And a lot of people are very appreciative of this. Banana Juju saying, Leaf working her magic and changing VTubing forever. We love to see it. I am nothing but amazed of everything she has accomplished so far. Here's another one saying, man, if I had this when I was PNG tubing. The system I came up with used OBS hotkeys and a ton of animated GIFs I paid for. This looks way more user friendly. Here's another one saying, Leaflit really is a creator of the people. First, she makes a TTRPG Angel Sword for free, and it gets constant updates. Now she is making this for free. If this is what Quangos mean when they say someone is a grifter, we need more grifters. I cannot wait to try it. And here's another one saying, Leaf out here casually destroying the VGen Mafia. She's releasing it for free. Riggers, as in VTuber riggers, are quaking right now. And yes, they were. To the point of Leaflit trending on Twitter. And of course, when a VTuber, a problematic one like Leaflit, is trending, it brings out the Quangos, as mentioned in the previous post, who are here to virtue signal. But I want to start with this post from Leaflit showing a screenshot that really encapsulates this entire debate. One person mad at Leaflit, quoting her, saying, more AI in the VTuber space, a big slap in the face to customizable model makers, asset makers, riggers, artists, etc. And then, in the related Discover More tab that was attached underneath, that same VTuber says, I put in a commission request for PNG VTuber on VGen and no word back after a week. Not even a message. Ugh. So I canceled it. I'm upset. It was so cute. And there you have it, right? People are literally trying to virtue signal and cancel Leaflit.
So I've got a little bit of tidbit on this. Um, so AI is out of the bag, right? There's no going back on it. And uh, my 2 cents on this is that anybody who is in a field that they want to say that they're an artist, but you're using a computer, you're not putting pen to paper and you're not putting a brush to canvas, and you're not using your hands, for, I don't know, pottery or anything like that. You should have expected this. Artistry on a computer is like, I mean, it's more complicated than this. Don't get me wrong, it is more complicated, but if you think about it, to make, I don't know, avatars or whatever you want to call it, years ago, well, not even years ago, it's they probably still do this, but I mean, you're taking a polygon and setting dimensions and giving it vectors, and you're more of a mathematician than an artist. And then riggers are, you take a point and then you make, you know, you set tolerances and distances and movements and all that other stuff. Is that an artist? I personally, when you're talking about doing something on a computer, it's not that much artistry, because you're not physically, I mean, you're physically technically setting the parameters and everything, but you're not using your own hand to draw something. You're not using your own hand to compose something. You're not using your own hand. And that's kind of where I'm trying to say is, it's not, I mean, I understand that it is technical and there's certain things that kind of make it artistry in a way, because you have to get good at it somehow. But anything that you're already doing on the computer, and the computer's technically, you're just putting digital numbers in there. It's a bunch of ones and zeros, if you break it all the way down to, basic binary for a computer. It it, it can be taken over, and it's you're not really the artist anymore. The computer kind of is, and then you get upset that now the computer's smart enough to do it itself. I don't know. If you want to claim artistry, it's you should be using your own hands. A carpenter is an artist if he's making a you know a artwork piece of a table, or you know that's artistry.
For providing a free AI based tool while providing an alternative that they're upset about themselves because it's not working out. At the end of the day, a lot of people would like to work with more artists, but it's very pricey, or they're getting canceled and their request denied because of wrongthink. We have seen so many artists refuse to work with people for their
That's
political
another
beliefs or
problem.
being problematic, what have you. But a tool like that provided by Leaflit gets rid of all of that. It gets rid of the virtue signaling because it's a very real thing. A lot of people want to work with artists, but artists have made it very clear I won't work with you if you're problematic. And even if I do, I'm going to charge a lot. So there is this provided, but people are really mad about it. This user saying, anybody saying, wow, this is amazing, needs a history lesson. This is Leaflit. She spent the last year glazing AI for her own pathetic, lifeless projects, and this is no different. The entire thing is AI based. AI is not a magic wand. It's a VTubing, and that's true. It's not a magic wand. You still have to make content, but if this bridges the gap and allows people to get to a starting point easier, wouldn't that be a good thing? But this person is getting destroyed. 58 likes versus 167 comments. Leaflet saying, Mom Spaghetti. Another comment saying, it clearly is, and this is the worst it's going to be. The next version is going to be better, and then eventually the AI version will be superior to the traditional live 2D. Clearly it is, lol. I'm going to keep it real with you, Chief. They are bodying you in the comments, and you deserve it. Also, who is this judging others? A 33-year-old he/they with 100 followers. Like, I'm not here to follow shame, but there is definitely
All right, well, how about this one? I've got like 16, so I've got even less input. Rev, it's fine though.
a clear pattern where people with no measured success are coming out and attacking people like Leaflet for providing free resources to get your career going. And speaking of career, who is this policing the VTubing scene? Someone with no content. I checked out their Twitch link.
Oh, jeez.
No
Okay, that's
content.
worse than me.
The page is not even there. Like, who is this? But here's another VTuber saying, can we stop bringing AI into every single creative field?
It's not that creative because it's still a computer that you're using to create the stuff, so you just need to know ones and zeros and stuff like that. Well, not really. It's more complicated, but whatever.
The VTubing community is quite literally built on real human art and hundreds of artists' work. Pick up a pen slash serious. And of course, they
But they're not picking up a pen. The VTuber's on a computer. I mean, I guess you could technically draw the VTube. You could technically draw the thing and then scan it into a computer and then go off of that flat image and, you know, and yes, you technically should do a storyboard and, well, not a storyboard, but, each thing's laid out, So I mean, there are some who actually put a lot of work into it, but I mean, it's everything that if, all right, so my VTuber model that I'm using right now, I made myself, and I know it looks like crap, and I mean, I know I technically use something that it's kind of a pre-scripted, but I mean, still made the clothing that's on it and whatever. And yeah, I would love to have um my the the character that I use for my Twitter account, X account, whatever. But you know, I'm just getting started, so I'm not gonna sit here and spend a lot of money on it, or, well, maybe I'll get lucky and I won't have to.
Mention VTubing community. There's no such thing as a VTubing community. There's only a VTubing scene. If you're focused on a greater community, which often consists of a bunch of virtue signalers in that related scene, you're already missing the mark. Focus on your own community. Big mistake right here. But this idea of just pick up a pen, well, you know what? Some people are not artists. Some people are looking for alternatives to the traditional sources, and that's what Leaflit is providing. But also, who are you? Another 100-follower person trying to speak on behalf of the quote-unquote VTuber community. But here's another VTuber saying, soulless piece of trash is what I think this is. Even if you excuse the use of generative AI, as in, I can't draw, that's why I'm using it, there is so many custom models you can get for dirt cheap. Well, you know what? There's also this option, and people are choosing this option over traditional means because it's easier, it's cheaper, and it's more accessible. And then again, you look at the accounts. I mean, the virtue signaling is there. The first thing they want you to know is that they don't support AI, and they has 300 followers. Again, not trying to shame someone for being a low follower account, but like, there's definitely a pattern here. The people so mad about this seem to have one thing in common, and it's that their concept is not proven to be tangibly successful. Here's another one saying, not only is this disrespectful to the VTuber cultural as a whole, but trash like this is why computers and phones are stupid expensive now. Wait a second. You're blaming Leaflit for phones being expensive? You think this entire scenario is the reason why phones are expensive nowadays? I mean, this is like Hassan blaming Israel for everything. Like, really? You're going to blame a problematic VTuber for the price of phones? I think it's a bit of a reach. But of course, Leaflit, as she does with other projects, comes out with a 30-plus minute long update to her system, improving things and providing more resources for people. And of course, the usual suspects are still very upset. You have this VTuber rigger here saying, I hate this. There are hundreds of free VTuber models and assets out there made by artists. You don't need to use AI to be a VTuber. Well, that's your opinion. And of course, people chose a different route than you. And of course, you hate this so much, and yet in the replies, you promote your own Twitch channel. Like, you hate this situation so much, but you can't help but try to promote yourself in the replies. And it's always funny to see the reply from the original poster getting 8 likes on 2,200 views. Like, no one actually cares about the actual content and supporting it. It's more about getting likes for the virtue signal post. No one cares about the follow through or your actual content whatsoever. And of course, this person is angry at a free option to get VTubers going because, well, they are a VTuber rigger themselves. This sort of technology, this sort of tool is literally putting them out of business, and yet they're so mad about it, they're crashing out on people like Leaflit instead of just promoting their own experience, their own portfolio. Like, if you're such a better option and a better route, your work should speak for itself, but clearly they're pretty insecure about that. Here's another quote saying, OMG, it looks uncanny. AI does not belong in the VTuber/art space. Well, that's according to you with 200 followers. Again, not shaming, just a pattern being recognized. Here's another one saying, this is very disturbing. Really? This is very disturbing to you? Anyways, they continue saying, I saw this account being followed by bigger VTubers and VTube Studio itself, which VTube Studio is the program I'm using right now to live record what I'm using right here, my VTuber model. This is the source basically every VTuber uses, so that's got a sting. And they say, I'm so confused. That account is pro AI? Hello? I thought those VTubers and artists don't support AI. Huh? Well, clearly you don't have much of a pulse on the VTubing scene. And of course, imagine the shock when a lot of the bigger VTubers, including the account running VTube Studio, just doesn't care. At the end of the day, people don't really care. If you're using whatever source, people don't really care if you're entertaining and you're providing content. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the VTubing scene, they focus way more on what VTubers are saying and what's getting likes rather than the reality. Because the reality is, if you're entertaining, no one really cares. They just want content. And virtue signaling about AI on Twitter is not content people enjoy. But the virtue signaling continues. This person saying, free block lists. Ah, yes.
Jesus.
Make sure to alienate yourself from VTubers and virtue signal about this, and also try to block people who are supporting this, but clearly you're not too invested because you didn't block Leaflit. You had to make this quote and interact for what? Attention, I guess. But here's another one saying, if you support this, unfollow me right now, please. There's so many free options, and I myself have been donated customizable models from kind people to start out as a VTuber. You don't need this AI garbage. Well, here's the thing. You got a lucky break. You're literally admitting it, that you got given.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, lucky break. I mean, it's good to know that there's people out there who are willing to do that. I know I haven't. I haven't even gotten an offer, and I have had, you know, a couple of riggers slash V2 model makers. You know, they came across my Twitter, they subscribed or followed for a second, and then about, I don't know, a month later they were gone. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna follow you so you can see that I'm a rigger, and you can pay me to make you a, you know, a model. That's kind of obvious what you're doing when you subscribe and then you unsubscribe after you wait for me to not talk to you for a bit.
Models for free. So what if you don't get models for free? Maybe you should find a free resource like this. I don't know. But of course, you can see the if you
Well, I know I didn't find this resource, but then again, it didn't exist. What I ended up doing is watching a lot of YouTube and learning how to make one myself. Though very crappy, I know my model is not that great looking, but I don't care. I made it myself, and I'm not going to pay somebody an outlandish fee. And you got to remember, I mean, okay, this gives away a little bit, but I'm in a part of the country where I make less money than people who live in the city. So now, if you think about it, I can't afford to pay as much as everyone else can. So, yeah, you know, need to do it for free or less than free. Well, not less than free. That's not possible.
support this, unfollow me right now. Is anyone actually doing that?
Nope.
Like, seriously, does anyone see this and it's like, oh, jeez. I am following this person, but I do support Leaflit's post. I guess I'm going to have to unfollow. It's just, it's all for virtue signaling.
It's too much
That's
work
all it
anyway.
is. But here's another one saying, this is insulting to VTubing, as being a VTuber has always involved real artists making amazing models, not slop like this. And of course, the same person, when getting bodied in their own replies, says muting this or whatever the other critters say. I know I'm getting bodied or whatever, but you guys in the comments, you do you. If you don't want to learn arts and feel proud of what you've created and just have a machine do it for you, have fun with trying to copyright your VTuber. I don't really think that is something these individuals are too worried about, but it seems like live and let live is not really your stance. I mean, it seems like it's the opposite. You're mad about people using this. You're calling it slop and trying to virtue signal about it.
Hey, Leaf, it would be even better if you would give us the copyright when we use your software.
Seems a bit hypocritical. But of course, Leaflit would weigh in on this, saying the reason people are so militantly anti-AI is because it brutally exposes their lack of impetus. No more excuses, the walls are crashing down. One is forced to face the monster of their own inaction and lack of drive. And she adds on this reply saying, you can see when they go mask off that it's all about maintaining the keys to their kingdom, where this user says, because AI removes any meaning or value to talent, it put the most talented and talentless people on equal footing regarding the result. And she says, good. Now, of course, this is a very convoluted subject, and I know it's one that people feel very strongly about, so I'm very interested in what you guys have to say, but I think the pattern of behavior and the outrage here is very recognizable. We've seen this a million times before in the VTubing scene and across content creation, but anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here.
Oh no, I'm screwing up again. Anyway, so yeah, so lots of stuff happened while I'm gone. All the things that have happened in the last week, and the 4th of July was very busy, where I work, and then after that, I decided that it's best to try to do my own thing for a bit. And I'm actually just sorry that I haven't posted, and hopefully you enjoyed today. If you could subscribe, that would be kind of cool. It's weird that I'm actually saying that. I didn't really ever want to say that, but I guess you kind of have to. But you guys have a good one.